Hey guys, this is Azroy here on Jinteki.net and we're playing Industrial Genomics again. This is actually my second game with this deck and I want to give a big shout out to Dasher Khan on Netrunner DB alongside the Big Unit 3000 who have basically, as far as I can tell, put this deck together and it won the Durham Regionals just a short time ago, and the deck seems absolutely brutal. I'm just having a quick look here. Let's see, this turn hand's not too bad. Jackson's pretty good for early draw. The Andromeda and Couch Siphon's pretty scary. So let's see. I'm not too against this actually. We can look to avoid any kind of punishing account siphons by sort of overdrawing overdrawing assets. Sorry, with the Mumbad City Hall, but I'm still not super bowled over by this. I'm going to mull it actually and just see what we get. This is not a huge amount better, but the early Hive isn't bad actually. So yeah, I think potentially Jackson, Tech Start Up and Hive is going to be the way that I go about this, I think. So we've got that account siphon protection, which I actually think is pretty key. And what I've kind of worked out just in one game with this deck is that money's not that big an issue. With Andromeda, obviously, we fear that early pressure, but the longer this game goes on, the better it's going to be for us. And the lack of recursion in Criminal is a general big advantage. Oh, Film Critic's pretty good, actually. Could really hurt our Future Perfects. And Scrubber's actually a really nice splash here. Thankfully, we're not going to lose any early money, which is great, which means we can take advantage of Tech Startup. And for me, there's a lot of options here, but I think it might be Turtlebacks that I want to get going. That or Mumba Temple. Or the other option is we could get the City Hall out and start stacking sideways. Yeah, let's do the Mumba City Hall into a new remote. And we will mandatorily draw. So Kamai's pretty good. Money's definitely a concern, so I'm going to draw a couple of cards here. Shreeple Static is really dead in this matchup, unfortunately. Let's get a Mumba Temple into a new remote. And probably just another Mumba Temple, actually. And we're basically presenting the runner with this really difficult situation straight away. The Scrubber's going to come into play though and start to help them deal with this. But if we can get enough stuff installed quickly, we're going to get into a pretty strong position. And to stop us doing that, they really need to get rid of the Jackson and the Mumbad City Hall here. So yeah, I mean, this deck, when I saw it, it just really appealed to me because it both has a couple of traps, which are great obviously, but I didn't like the original very trap heavy decks. Oh, excuse me. Sorry about that. That's my alarm in my phone going off telling me that I've been recording for too long. So yeah, as I was just sort of saying, it has a few traps, but it really doesn't focus on that. It does have a good blend of ice with 9 ice, so it can potentially score out if it wants to. And the traps are just there as an added bonus. What you're really doing is just setting up this really strong board position, which is challenging the runner to really address it quickly and keep with the pace that you're kind of putting forward, which I just don't think many runners can. So pretty good start here. Continuing to draw. I think I will overdraw with the Jackson. Really would like to get a shock or two into the bin, but this Turtlebacks is fantastic. And I'm happy enough just to throw away maybe the interns here and look to get it back later. It's really not crucial at the moment. So really want to see Andromeda start to use Scrubber here to get in and start doing some real damage. The double daily casts and Scrubber are really going to help, and that Fairy is going to be really good as well to avoiding these really brutal Kamai hits. We're only running 3 shocks, 2 snares, so not as trap heavy. We lose a Kronos, that's okay, it's really not the biggest issue. There's a museum. Okay. And again, no shocks or hostile infrastructures as of yet, so we're not really putting a lot of pressure on at the moment. I'll just get rid of the Jackson. But this museum now is going to allow us to start shuffle back these face-up cards, which is going to be really good for us. So as the runner here, I find it's really difficult to work out what do you want to do. Do you want to start investing all this money that you've been building up into starting to trash all these assets, or do you just want to try and win off R&D or HQ before everything goes sour? We've been quite lucky seeing a reasonable amount of our 9 ice already, so I think covering up the main servers is not too bad. And what we need to start applying pressure is the bioethics associations, so we can really start to say to the runner, you've got to deal with these assets. Okay. So with the museum, I think we'll take back the tech startup and draw. Diversified portfolio is okay here. Hostile is very good. And potentially could draw or could just continue to protect. The HQ interface is definitely threatening. So I'm going to just throw this over HQ and dump out, I think we'll dump out the food. We have 2 Jacksons on the board, and sorry, I'm going to have to zoom out a little bit here. I'll try and keep it as zoomed in as I possibly can, guys, but unfortunately with a 31 asset deck, this deck goes horizontal pretty badly, and we get into the realms of Netrunner for ants pretty quickly. So yeah, so right now, we're giving the runner too much time to build up, which is a pain. The bioethics associations can be got via the tech startups, so we do run 3 of those, so that's why I shuffled 1 back in. While he's getting rigged up, I don't think we've anything too much to be concerned about. I'm going to actually res this hostile infrastructure now, just because I think it's a good time just to keep on top of our money. We might as well make use of these Mumba Temple credits. And we'll shuffle back in that food and draw bioethics, which is great. So drawing 2 cards, there's a tech startup, which is good also. So I think bioethics and maybe the crick is the play here. And we can just go ahead and bin potentially just the snare at this point. No, I want to keep the snare in hand in case he does make it into HQ and we can maybe get a nice surprise, because I think that's the way he's leaning right now. Are we going to need a diversified portfolio? Possibly. Let's just chuck the tech startup for now. We can shuffle it back in. So right now we have 4 face down cards, which means trashing 4 or costing 4 more to trash anything. Scrubber's going to kind of deal with that a little bit. The downside is we have nothing in there that's going to penalise the runner for running in and checking it and clearing those cards, which is sad. We really would like to get one of our 3 shocks in there. The crick's handy though. If we could get a tech startup out off the back of that, I wouldn't be too bad to that. Okay, so we're about to start putting on the pressure now. And it's unbelievable what this one bioethics association does, but it's going to start forcing the runner to make some tough calls. So we hit a sacrificial construct, which isn't too bad at all. I think I'm just going to continue to overdraw here. Another hostile infrastructure is pretty good. I think now is a good time to diversify. Yeah. And I'll throw the foot away now because there's a good chance that they're going to look to run archives this turn. Yeah, sorry guys, as it gets a little bit smaller. and HQ interfaces start to come out. If he runs HQ here, we're in a pretty happy position. I might not even res the hive, because the chance is the double snares could end up killing him. Some really economical plays coming out of Andromeda here. So we're seeing Katie, we're seeing the supplier used. We're not seeing the scrubber credits used yet. But all in all, you know, being pretty good about cash. Has only really used 2 daily casts and a career fair, or 2 career fairs. But is, you know, we haven't seen sure gambles yet. We haven't seen account siphons yet. Account siphons are definitely a concern, slightly. Although at this point, the 2 Mamba temples are going to really deal with most of our money issues. Mechs are run, which is absolutely fair enough. So we will go ahead and res this, which will force the ferry. And ferry's the best way, really, to deal with Kamainu. Sacrificial Construct going kind of makes that a little bit better for us. Hopefully she doesn't hit an agenda. We know where a lot of them are. We're running 9 agendas. We've got 2 in hand, a 3rd in the bin, 4 scores. So that's 5 and 28. And, oh my goodness, she hits a future perfect. Okay, so that's pretty horrendous for us, actually. Not happy about that at all. Let's get back the food. Another Kamainu's good. Ronin is potentially quite good as well. Not gonna lie. But I think R&D just needs some more protection. And yeah, all of a sudden, going to be on 4 points here, and a film critic future perfect in future turns could just end this game. It's pretty bad for us, actually. We really, really need to see our next 2 bioethics associations, because right now the runner's down to 24 cards. We're just not doing enough net damage right now. Yeah, 1 net damage a turn is just not enough. So all 3 Kamainus are installed. We've still got 2 cricks, 2 hives to see. We will go ahead and res this other hostile. Don't see any reason why not when we've got these credits sitting here. Don't know. Yeah, I think we're just going to keep shuffling back the agenda, I guess. There's a Fetal, which we really want in the deck. And we're just going to continue to dig for the bioethics associations. There's one. And this hive really could be super useful. I do feel like the best place for this hive could be R&D, so I'm going to put it there. And I think I'll hold on to the Fetal and just throw away this Mumbad City Hall for now, and hopefully not have to waste a Jackson. So right now we have 2 hostile infrastructures installed. Oh, we can zoom out again. We've got 2 bioethics associations which are now going to start ticking. And the thing we're really missing now is a couple of shocks in this bin. 2 or 3 shocks in there would just be fantastic. And there's a net shield, which is pretty awesome. So this deck's pretty teched against us, actually. But that's alright. I don't know if it's actually going to be enough. I think even though we've given up a few points early, and even though film critics are a real threat, I don't know if net shield, scrubber, film critic, if all this together is going to be enough. And I'm going to struggle to zoom in a little bit here. And I'm going to take a credit to res another bioethics association. Start the turn. Do we want to shuffle anything back in? We'll shuffle back in the diversified because it's already face up. And we see a shock. Good. The Ronin, I'd really like to look to double advance here. In fact, I may even just triple advance this Ronin. Oh. Hmm. That work? It looks like the net shield actually attempted to block both of the net damage. I still take the second. So I tried clicking there to see if it would do the damage, but it doesn't look like it did. Doesn't look like there's a way to do this. Let me just quickly check. Fire Kamani sub. Good shout. So awesome. So yeah, unfortunately it looks like there's a little bug there. Net Shield is actually able to block both the net damage from each of the bioethics associations, which then JC just kind of sorted out for me, which was great. So yeah, so I was just thinking, I think triple advancing the Ronin is pretty good here. It's going to mean we could potentially kill him next turn, and even if he goes to trash this, it's going to cost him a ton of money and 2 net damage because of the hostile infrastructures. And if he goes to Archives, I'm going to put a shock in there, so I'm pretty good with advancing this twice here. Maybe, actually, I think 3 times. Is 3 times too much? Nah. Let's advance it 3 times. I think it makes it kind of clear that it's a Ronin actually. But if he's running and paying 2 plus 5, paying 7 and taking 2 net, like that's just ridiculously strong. He will have 2 scrubber credits, but the 2 net alone puts him in a terrible situation with these bioethics associations continuing to take over here. I really think this one-off Ronin is actually a really genius card that can just take runners from trying to draw the game out to just pushing them to this point where they have to engage you and kind of tip over to a riskier situation. The other thing is that you may think it's a Fetal, which would actually be much for muchness as well. 2 net damage and 2 credits. Installing and advancing the Fetal here when he already has the Future Perfect installed actually would be a pretty good play also, when he has the Future Perfect on the Film Critic. If he doesn't trash the Ronin, I think he's going to be dead because I'll have 3 net damage from it and 2 from the bioethics associations. He could draw up to 5 and just hold there. Draw to 5 and hit Katie, but that would still be pretty grim. I just look at the other side of the board here, and the runner's board position looks strong. 2 HQ interfaces, an R&D interface, even the net damage, which he obviously can prevent 1 of. You know, it looks strong, but for some reason, this board, just the way all the cards synergize together, is just unbelievable. So he does host the Future Perfect, maybe thinking that it is a Fetal in server 12. And running the Ronin here would be a pretty decent play. So if he runs the Ronin and trashes it, he'll take 2 net, be able to block 1 of them, so we have 1 card left. He's running server 7. Interesting. And that's going to be the game. Oh, it prevented both again, when it should have done 1. I'll just, yeah. And yeah, this is just ridiculous. So we'll take the Jackson back. Mandatory draw. We're going to do 2 net. He's going to prevent 1. But I think it's just because of Jinteki, it's going to actually prevent both of them. So we'll just fire a Kamainu again. And then we're going to advance the Ronin. Res it. And do 3 net. And that's going to kill the game. And clearly he was thinking, was it the Ronin? Was it maybe just a fetal? There's a possible couple of options I think it could have been, but it was the Ronin in the end. And just what a brutally strong deck. So my hat is off to the guys that have put this together, and to Dasha Khan and to Big Unit 3000. I'm going to continue playing with this because it's very enjoyable, and I want to try and learn what its weaknesses are for when I have to eventually face it, which I'm sure I will do. So thanks so much for watching, guys. Any feedback as ever, please chalk it down below, and I hope to see you along in the next video.